Apologies for not speaking your language, but let's dive into the talk in German. First off, big thanks for the warm greetings. They mean a lot. Now, tackling the topic of anthroposophical spiritual science. Shout out to the students here for giving me the chance to spill the beans on this. You wanted the lowdown on the reality of higher worlds, and I get it. After years in the trenches of spiritual science, I know it's like explaining rocket science to a toddler. But hey, challenge accepted. Today, I can't drop solid proof bombs, but I can sketch out the roadmap. Imagine this as a sneak peek, and if you're hungry for more, catch me on other days. Now let's talk Turkey. Anthroposophical spiritual science isn't trying to one-up the scientific champs of the past centuries. No beef here. Doubts? Nah, they're just a case of crossed wires. We're not here for chit-chat. This is a legit journey to knowledge. Think of it like scientists dissecting the laws of nature, but we're dissecting the super-sensible realms. No room for amateurs. It's all about disciplined thinking and scientific precision. In a nutshell, we're on a mission to make the higher worlds real. Don't see it as a clash with what the science wizards have pulled off. It's just another flavour of exactitude, a different angle on the grand tapestry of understanding. Cheers to exploring the unknown without dismissing the known, right? So buckle up for a ride into realms beyond the ordinary, where spiritual science meets disciplined thought, and doubts get shown the exit door. So here's the scoop. If we're aiming to crack the code of super-sensible worlds with the same precision as natural science, we got to think outside the box. Anthroposophical spiritual science rides on the coattails of the principles that made modern science a rock star. We're talking scrupulous observation, experiments, and thoughtful reflection on what our senses and experiments spill. Now the plot twist. We're not shy about going beyond the scientific status quo. We're like, hey, science, high five. But we're also exploring what you can't quite touch. It's all about evolving the power of investigation, especially when it comes to the eternal nature of the soul and the whole shebang about higher worlds. We're on the same page as modern science. There are boundaries, and we're cool with that. Philosophy has taken a crack at stepping over these boundaries, but let's be real. Most attempts flop. The intellect and the heart team up, but when it comes to what lies beyond the senses, it's like reaching into thin air. The intellect knows it's hooked on what the senses throw its way, and when it wants to peek behind the material world curtain, it hits a dead end in ordinary consciousness. Now, enter the soul searchers, those deep-feeling folks, not content with a belief buffet, want solid intel on things beyond the everyday grind. They often cozy up to mysticism, thinking the secrets of the eternal soul and its cosmic connections with the divine spirit can be fished out from the depths of the heart. It's like they're on a quest for the hidden truths, trying to stitch together the eternal significance of the soul in a world that sometimes feels like a puzzle missing a few pieces. Now let's unravel the mysteries of mysticism and the science of the soul. Mysticism, as tempting as it sounds, doesn't cut it for a profound science of the soul. It's like thinking you've stumbled upon cosmic revelations, when in reality you might just be flipping through the pages of your childhood memories, a mystical déjà vu, if you will. What seems divine might be nothing more than echoes from the material world playing dress-up. A true investigator, however, sees the pitfalls. Mystic experiences might feel like a divine spark, but they could be repackaged childhood stimuli. What you pull from the depths of your soul may just be a remix of early life encounters. It's the investigator's tightrope walk, dodging the intellectual charades of philosophy, aiming for a beyond-the-senses escape, and sidestepping mysticism's memory fashion show. Here's the deal. There are roadblocks on both ends. On one side, you've got the impenetrable material world that normal consciousness can't crack. On the flip side, you've got the human memory bank forming an interior boundary that normal consciousness can't breach without sipping on illusions and fantasies. Enter anthroposophical research, stage left. Its game plan. Dodge the pitfalls and snag the golden ticket to genuine knowledge of higher worlds. No smoke and mirrors here. Anthroposophical spiritual science spills the beans. Ordinary cognitive superpowers hit walls, and they're no match for the higher realms. So the game plan is to wake up some hidden soul faculties that the everyday consciousness snoozes on. Only when these faculties hit the gym and bulk up do we dive into investigating the real deal of higher worlds. No starting from mystic fog. It's all about transforming ordinary life faculties into something a bit more superhero-esque. It's like taking your everyday cognition, giving it a superhero makeover, and sending it off to explore the spiritual unknown. Let's talk shop about the first player in the Spiritual Investigator's Toolkit memory. We're not talking about your everyday where did I put my keys memory, but a deeper dive into the mental archives, reaching back to the early days after you popped into this world. Anthroposophy doesn't just nod at this, it gives it a full-blown spotlight. Now, the game plan involves flexing the memory muscle in ways your average psychology class might not cover. Anthroposophy goes all in, using intentional willpower to summon up mental images, thoughts, and concepts. It's not your run-of-the-mill memory recall, it's a conscious effort to bring these mind nuggets to the forefront. But hold on, Anthroposophy doesn't stop at the usual memory gymnastics. No sir, it takes memory to the gym, pumps some iron, and then takes it for a disciplined, systematic meditation spin. Not the fluffy meditation you might associate with mysticism, but a hands-on, focused kind that gets the soul in shape. Now, my role today is to throw you the basic playbook. If you're hungry for the full buffet of details, dive into my books like Knowledge of the Higher Worlds and Its Attainment, or An Outline of Occult Science. Consider what I'm serving here as the appetizer. The main course is in those pages. The key takeaway is this: the investigator in training is like a weightlifter for the soul. Imagine a muscle that needs constant pumping, in this case the forces of the soul. By putting a mental image or idea at the heart of consciousness and marinating in it for a bit, the investigator is essentially giving that memory muscle a workout. Some folks might need more time, others less, depending on their mental prowess and concentration mojo. It's like calisthenics for the mind, but instead of push-ups, you're doing deep dives into your mental landscape. Now let's dig into a crucial point. We're not just throwing any old memory into the meditation mix. I'm talking about pictures where you can keep the full scoop in sight. We're not inviting random memories to the party. That's a surefire way to lose the plot. See, the thought warehouse is packed with memories and unconscious impressions, and if we let them crash the meditation party, it's like letting the neighbourhood kids run wild in a china shop. Here's the deal. In true anthroposophical meditation, nothing from the unconscious should sneak its way in. It's all about a conscious survey and deliberate contemplation. That's why it's not a bad idea to get recommendations from seasoned investigators or folks who've been there, done that. The exercises you choose should feel like a fresh breeze, not like a rerun of old memories. The magic lies in the newness and freshness of the experience, not the content of the mental image. It's like doing a workout. You're not in it for the weights, you're in it for the muscle burn. Similarly, when you dwell on a picture or idea with focused concentration, it's not about what's in the mental image, it's about flexing those soul muscles. Now don't worry about drowning in suggestion or auto-suggestion. If you follow the exercises in my books to a T, every moment of the drill will be a conscious willpower dance. No shortcuts here. Each repetition fills your soul with strength and power, like a workout for the mind. You don't need to carve out hours each day for this quality over quantity. But the key is repetition. Some folks might need a marathon, while others might sprint to success in a few months. The principle remains the same. Soul forces and thoughts bulk up with these exercises until you hit the jackpot. Imaginative thinking, or as I like to call it, imagination. Why imagination? Because your thoughts break free from the chains of abstraction and intellectualism. Picture this. Pure thought starts to glow with life, adorned with vivid imagery as real as the scenes painted by external sense impressions. It's like upgrading your thought game from black and white to Technicolor. Imagination isn't just dreaming, it's a powerhouse of thoughts with a vibrant, lifelike palette. It's a crucial point to keep in mind. When our attention dances with external sense impressions, it's a carnival of intensity. Everything is alive, saturated, a full-blown sensory spectacle. However, if we shift gears, turning away from the outer senses, and dive into the usual thinking mode of everyday life and science, thoughts become colourless, lacking that warm glow. It's like speaking of abstract thought as the Shakespearean pale cast. Most thoughts in our regular gig are abstract, devoid of the teeming content you get when you're engulfed in the real deal of the sense world. Now, the magic happens when you take the route I've mapped out for you. Imagine this, exercising and strengthening your thoughts in a specific way, like a mental CrossFit, brings life and content to your inner musings. It's like upgrading from a black and white thought TV to a high-definition Technicolor mind cinema. This is the birth of imaginative thinking in pictures, vivid and full of life. But let's be clear, in this imaginative thinking phase, there's no external spiritual reality waving at you. It's all happening within the confines of your mind. The real deal kicks in when you realise the objective significance of this imaginative thinking. Remember those early childhood days when your brain was like clay, shaping and moulding itself into the intricate organ it becomes later in life? Well, in the pursuit of imaginative knowledge, you start feeling a similar vibe. Your capacity for this imaginative thought workout grows, and you sense that something within you, something beyond the physical body, is getting ploughed and furrowed in the fields of soul and spirit. It's like the brain's plasticity, but on a spiritual level. As you engage in this soul and spirit workout, you start feeling that you're cultivating something super sensible, something that goes beyond the boundaries of the physical body, and you begin to see those outer and inner knowledge boundaries in a whole new light. Sure, those boundaries are legit, but with these newly developed faculties, you sense that, bit by bit, you can actually navigate and cross them. It's like realising that the no trespassing signs in the realm of knowledge are more like gentle nudges than barricades. When a person hits this stage, it's like a cosmic aha moment. You're thinking, whoa, I don't need to tap out within the material senses anymore. Thanks to this living, pictorial thinking, you're unlocking something tangible when you pierce through the material world and turn the gaze inward. It's an experience that dances beyond the reach of natural science, leaving mysticism fumbling in the illusionary dark. When this experience hits after genuine inner development, you can bet you're on a path leading straight to the reality of the higher worlds. At first, nothing that shouts external reality is in your soul's sight. It's just the old forces getting pumped up. But soon, a significant shift occurs in your consciousness. An inner tableau unfolds, showcasing your entire life since birth. This is the first supersensible reality that slaps you in the face, your own life story, laid out like a meticulously crafted tapestry. The kicker? You can take it all in, every twist and turn. Now here's where things get spicy. In regular everyday thinking, your thoughts play tag with external objects. Thoughts in, object out. But now, with this life tableau in front of you, your thoughts aren't just spectators. They dive into the very fabric of the tableau. It's like realising, hold up, I'm part of this masterpiece. Your thoughts surrender to the objective reality unfolding before your eyes. And it's not all rainbows and sunshine. This surrender, to put it mildly, hurts a bit. But here's the thing, this pain is the secret sauce, an essential seasoning for the spiritual scientist. We'll circle back to this pain in a different chat. Initially, this life tableau has a way of making you feel like your inner self is under a cosmic weight. The easy, breezy vibe you had with thoughts, ideas, feelings, and all that jazz? Gone. You're under a load, feeling constricted. But here's the golden nugget. In this very feeling of oppression, you start sensing reality. If there's no pinch, no sense of this is heavy, you're just building castles in the air, not experiencing reality at all. It's like the pressure test for truth. And guess what? This oppressive experience is your shield against the danger of drifting into illusions, daydreams, or hallucinations in your imaginative knowledge journey. It's like reality is saying, you want the goods? Brace yourself, because it won't be a walk in the park. Let's clear the air on a common misconception. Some folks argue that the exercises from anthroposophical spiritual science serve up nothing but visions and hallucinations. They claim it's just a bubbling up of suppressed nerve forces, and there's no concrete proof for the existence of those higher worlds spiritual science keeps chatting about. But here's the scoop. If you've been tuned in today, you'd realise that the path laid out by anthroposophical spiritual science is the total opposite of those winding roads leading to visions, hallucinations, or playing the medium. Here's the lowdown. Anything that drags you into the realm of mediumship, hallucinations, or visions is like a train leaving from the station of diseased bodily organs. It's as if your body is sneezing out its psycho-spiritual contents in a funky, pathological dance. It's subterranean, lurking beneath the surface of sense experience. Now, compare that to imaginative knowledge, which floats in a realm beyond the senses. It doesn't pop up from some inner organ malfunction. It's a result of objective exploration, not a byproduct of internal chaos. Labelling the methods of anthroposophical research as pathological is missing the mark entirely. The real deal is the opposite. Because imaginative knowledge is a conscious, free endeavour, we can spot hallucinations and mediumship shenanigans from a mile away. Trust me, no one will shake their head harder at psychopathic manifestations than someone who, instead of diving headfirst into the body like a visionary, has set their soul free through the sweat and tears I've been describing. Picture this. You're standing on the sidelines, having a bird's-eye view of your life since birth in the tableau I spilled the beans about. This tableau, and mark my words, it's as real as your morning coffee, unveils more than just thoughts. It's a living, breathing archive of the forces that shaped your physical self since the dawn of your earthly journey. The imagination that blossoms here is no lightweight. It's the sum total of the forces that fueled your growth, the forces orchestrating the symphony of nourishment. Now, what anthroposophical spiritual science tags as an active, super-sensible reality within you is none other than the ether body, or the body of formative forces. It's like the behind-the-scenes maestro directing the orchestra of your life forces, and it's not a mirage, it's the real deal. Here's the drill. We're on a methodical and systematic journey to unveil a higher member of your being, a super-sensible player in the formation of your earthly body. No mystic hocus-pocus here. This isn't some fantasy realm or an antique life force that science rightly tossed into the history bin. This, my friend, is the real deal, the super-sensible ether body or life body, and it's not a creation of whimsy. It's as real as the chair you're probably sitting on and the coffee you might be sipping on right now. Now, how did we get here? No magic spells or nebulous mysticism. It's all about flexing and boosting the regular thinking muscle to superhero levels. This ether body is a reality, just like the world you see and touch every day. It's not a fantasy. It's the result of turning your thinking into a powerhouse, amped up to the level of a free eye. That's the secret sauce in this development, making the ordinary thinking extraordinary. But hold up, we're not lounging on laurels here. Now that we've got a handle on this earthly life tableau, we need to amp up the game to explore the super-sensible worlds. It's like levelling up in a cosmic video game, and the key is waking up other powers snoozing in your soul. Let's talk about forgetting, not the "where did I leave my keys" kind, but the capacity to consciously let thoughts slip through the cracks. In the normal chaos of life, we often forget without batting an eye. But if you're a thought connoisseur, you know thoughts can be clingy. They don't always want to pack up and leave when you're done with them. Enter the systematic meditation I've been dishing out. When you're diving into deep, inward thinking, focusing on certain mental images, these images can be a stubborn bunch. They camp out in your mental space, overstaying their welcome. And here's the paradox. You need to train yourself in the art of deliberate forgetting, consciously booting out those clingy mental guests. It's like a mental decluttering session, letting go of the thoughts that refuse to budge. Let's delve into the nitty-gritty. In those books I mentioned earlier, I've spilled the beans on plenty of exercises aimed at flexing those mental muscles. Stick with these exercises long enough, and you'll reach a point where, while fully awake and alert, you can hit the cosmic reset button on your consciousness. Now, don't brush this off. It's more crucial than it might seem. In the daily hustle, trying to completely empty your consciousness usually earns you a ticket to snooze town pretty quickly. And trust me, it's even trickier when your meditation has pumped up your consciousness with intensified mental images. But you gotta do it. Through dedicated practice, you start mastering the art of not just booting out individual thoughts, but erasing the whole life tableau I've been raving about. Imagine your entire life laid out before you, not in a linear timeline, but in a spatial, temporal dance. With these exercises, You gain the power to swipe that whole tableau out of your consciousness. It was there, vivid and real. But now, with your consciousness emptied, you're wide awake and alert. Now here's where it gets mind-bendingly cool. After your consciousness has done a Marie Kondo on that life tableau, you're not left with an empty void. You're not staring into nothingness. Sure, the material world of senses isn't hanging around. It's as absent as during a deep, dreamless sleep. But, and this is the juicy part, a brand new world steps into the limelight. It's a world of super-sensible beings and happenings, and it's a fresh chapter in your consciousness after the life tableau bows out. Let's be crystal clear. What unfurls after all these mental gymnastics isn't some nostalgia trip or a mirage. Anyone who's genuinely ridden this cosmic roller coaster knows it's as real as the material world you're used to. It's not an illusion, it's reality in a new, super-sensible flavour. Let's get to the heart of the matter. When someone gets caught up in hallucinations and visions, it's like they've taken a detour from their regular consciousness. They're living in a realm of their own creation, and their ability to think critically takes a back seat. Now contrast that with the person who's been on the journey I've been outlining. This individual doesn't lose an ounce of their healthy human reason or their thoughtful deliberation skills. They can seamlessly shift their focus from the dazzling spectacle of the super-sensible worlds back to the mundane details of everyday life. It's like turning the pages of a mental photo album, a conscious choice. So, imagine this. The person developing in this way has the power to fill their perception of the super-sensible world with conscious thinking, infused with a healthy dose of will. They can articulate their experiences in the super-sensible realms with the same logical clarity and intelligence that ordinary science uses to discuss the material world. And the descriptions are so clear and intelligible that anyone with a smidgen of healthy human intelligence can follow along. You don't need to be a card-carrying anthroposophical investigator to get it. The true investigator ensures that every nugget of knowledge about the higher worlds is presented in a form that's as clear as day to good old-fashioned human reason and discrimination. This principle holds water not only in the stage of imaginative thinking, where the tableau of earthly life takes centre stage, but also in the next level of knowledge I've dubbed, in my books, knowledge through inspiration or inspired knowledge. Now, don't let these terms trip you up. They're not carrying any baggage of superstition or outdated traditions. I use them simply to describe the process at hand. When I talk about inspired knowledge, I'm likening it to the way air from the outer world flows into our breathing organs as a reality. Similarly, the super-sensible world now breathes into the realm of the soul. Armed with inspired knowledge, the spiritual investigator stands in a unique position. They can start with a normal soul constitution, and whenever they please, regardless of their location in time or space, they can choose to empty their consciousness. In this emptied state, glimpses are revealed, glimpses of the beings and happenings of the super-sensible world. It's like an inbreathing, an inspiration, where the spiritual world flows into the ordinary world, enriching it with a new layer of understanding. It's not some mystical jargon. It's a way to convey the profound experiences of this spiritual journey. Now let's circle back to the importance of reclaiming normal consciousness, the ability to evaluate this spiritual world with the clarity of regular awareness. It's like a rhythmic dance between the spiritual and the ordinary, an ongoing exchange of breaths. There's a continuous ebb and flow, a return to everyday consciousness that enables a person to exercise thoughtful judgment even about these spiritual realms. Consider this for a moment. The spiritual investigator of today isn't navigating the super-sensible worlds in the same way as our counterparts in prehistoric epochs. The methods used by ancient Oriental cultures to access higher realms have lingered through tradition and still find expression in certain forms of yoga in Asia. However, these practices, while rooted in instinctive, unconscious actions, are fundamentally different from what I've been describing. The journey I outline happens in full waking consciousness, under the complete command of the will. Now let's draw a parallel to help you grasp why the term inspiration fits the bill. The ancient Indian practitioners of yoga, in their quest for higher worlds, focused on regulating their breathing. They didn't just breathe in the usual autopilot mode. Instead, they did it deliberately and systematically. They transformed the ordinary act of breathing, striving to remain fully conscious throughout. It was a rhythmic experience, in-breathing, out-breathing, in-breathing, out-breathing. In doing so, the yoga pupil of yore synchronized with the rhythm of the cosmos, the physical rhythm of breath aligning with the spiritual rhythm of the in-breathing and out-breathing of the spiritual worlds. It was an instinctive, unconscious merging with the universe. While we're not adopting the exact methods of ancient yoga, there's something to be gleaned from their approach. We, in the West, can find a parallel rhythm that suits our temperament. It's like entering into a harmonious dance with the rhythm of existence. Our earthly existence can be continually inspired by a higher, supersensible world. Now, what's the real deal with this supersensible world? It's not some mystical haze. Instead, it's a dimension where the spiritual investigator, after emptying their consciousness and entering a state of inspired knowledge, gains access to profound insights. It's not about vague illusions. It's about stepping into a reality that parallels our material world, but transcends it. It's about breathing in the spiritual essence of the cosmos and letting it infuse our understanding, enriching our perception of existence. This isn't a whimsical flight of fancy. It's a disciplined, intentional exploration of the realms beyond the senses. It's the ongoing rhythmic exchange between the ordinary and the extraordinary. And in this dance, we find a deeper, richer connection with the supersensible world. Through the lens of imaginative cognition, we've unravelled the secrets of the ether body, that invisible architect shaping our earthly existence. As we suppress the immediate presence of the material world, it becomes a distant recollection. In this altered state of consciousness, a higher reality reveals itself, the same reality that courses through and animates the ether body, just as the ether body subtly weaves through the physical body. This isn't a flight of fancy or the result of fanciful daydreams. Anthroposophical spiritual science, following a disciplined and methodical approach, introduces the concept of the astral body. It's not a figment of imagination, but a tangible essence that permeates the body of formative forces, even though its true vitality resides in other realms. As we delve into the worlds where the astral body and the I coexist, akin to how we inhabit the material world as corporeal beings, we stumble upon the realm of soul and spirit. This is the dimension from which the human being descends during the acts of birth or conception, intertwining with the physical substance provided by the parents. In this direct perception, one that withstands the scrutiny of healthy human reason, we uncover the eternal, immortal core of human existence. Yet, describing these worlds with precision and specificity often triggers disapproval in contemporary society. Some take offence when, instead of speaking vaguely about an all-encompassing world of spirit, we present a detailed account of a world of soul and spirit, where humans originate and to which they return upon passing through the gate of death. It's important to note that these depictions aren't the product of unfounded speculation or nebulous mystical sentiments. Rather, they emerge from a rigorously disciplined mode of perception. Consider your everyday memory, the repository of your recollections. It holds the impressions of past events that, once part of the external world, now reside as memory pictures within you. From these pictures, you reconstruct the experiences, bringing the past back to life within the theatre of your mind. The inner world, comprised of thoughts, feelings, and will, captures and encapsulates the external world of experiences. Now let's pivot. What do we grasp when we engage in imagination and inspiration? Through the faculties of imagination and inspiration, our understanding transcends the mere accumulation of earthly experiences. We gain insight into the entirety of human existence. We come to fathom how the body of formative forces, a constant presence throughout our earthly journey, operates within our organs. We delve into a pre-birth or preconception realm of soul and spirit, witnessing how the astral body cradles the eternal core of our being, and how this astral body permeates and influences our physical form. The full nature and essence of humanity become lucidly perceptible. We recognize that our physical nature is not a standalone entity, but rather the result of spiritual forces at play. As we peer even deeper into ourselves, moving beyond the psycho-spiritual content imprinted during ordinary life, and grasp the intricate creation of our organs, as well as the interwoven dynamics of the ether body, astral body, and I within the physical body, we open our soul's eyes to the grand stage of cosmic experiences and events. Just as memories transport us into the realm of our ether body, we can now, with awakened spiritual vision, immerse ourselves in the vast theatre of cosmic happenings. Throughout the universe's unfolding, in the realms of spirit, soul, and the physical, humanity has been an ever-present participant, intimately connected with the unfolding tapestry of existence. Understanding one's true being and nature allows for the recognition of the events that have facilitated human evolution through history and within the cosmos. Those who grasp the profound implications of these concepts will find resonance in my work, Outline of Occult Science, where descriptions unveil the deep connection of human primeval forms, not only with the Earth, but also with planetary worlds preceding Earth in earlier metamorphoses. The very constitution of the human being points towards future transformations of Earth into other planetary conditions. These insights underscore the possibility of genuinely penetrating higher worlds and recognizing the kingdoms surrounding us on Earth as manifestations of higher spiritual realms. It is crucial to dispel the prevalent misconception that the insights offered by anthroposophical spiritual science regarding the reality of higher worlds stem from mere inspiration, subjective deduction, or fanciful imagination. Contrary to such notions, the process of spiritual research involves rigorous internal experimentation and the unfolding of higher perception through dedicated and meticulous effort. This endeavour demands a level of devotion, care, exactitude, and methodical perseverance that surpasses even the challenges faced in fields like clinical or astronomical research. Anthroposophical spiritual science distinguishes itself from prevalent forms of occultism and mysticism, just as science stands in contrast to superstition. It rejects approaches that rely on mediums or gather sensational data in amateurish ways. Genuine spiritual research, characterized by scrupulous and exact methods, decisively challenges such forms of modern superstition. Upon attaining knowledge through inspiration, a spiritual investigator gains the ability to gaze into the world left behind at birth or conception, and to which one will return after death. However, the reflections of these experiences in ordinary consciousness may seem to take on the appearance of pessimism. In the ordinary realm of consciousness, where the supersensible assumes the form of vague and indistinct feelings, the experiences derived from inspiration may appear as pessimistic. Why this seeming pessimism? It is rooted in the fact that, as the spiritual investigator enters the higher worlds, a profound and universal sense of privation and deep pain is encountered. Through the prescribed exercises outlined in my books, individuals are equipped to confront and withstand this pain with courage and resolve. What is this pain that is authentically experienced? It is, in truth, an intense and profound longing, a longing that represents the force by which the soul transitions from the spiritual realms, through birth, into physical existence. The soul, having resided in spiritual worlds, experiences, in the last phase before the descent into physical existence, a yearning for the physical world. This yearning subsequently transforms into the pain that the spiritual investigator encounters, because experiences within the realm of spiritual science are not abstract or theoretical, but rather involve the entire being of man, including feelings and will. This pain becomes an integral aspect of the path leading into the higher worlds. When treading the anthroposophical path into the spiritual worlds, mere theorizing falls short of sufficiency. The experiences that accompany genuine investigation demand constant moral preparation at every stage. The exercises leading to the knowledge of the reality of higher worlds are not a mere theoretical endeavor, but a practical and moral one. These worlds reveal themselves not to those who merely theorize, but to those who dedicate their entire manhood to enlivening their faculties of good feeling, appreciating the beauty in the world, and cultivating the power of reverent contemplation of the secrets of the universe. Only those who transform their love for humanity and the world into inner, all-encompassing warmth achieve the moral strength necessary to advance towards the reality of higher worlds. It is acknowledged by many, even those who might not be willing to embark on the actual path to knowledge of the higher worlds, that the exercises described for the path by spiritual science possess a genuinely commendable moral aspect. However, this path alone, amidst the modern thirst for scientific understanding, can lead individuals into these higher realms. Through imagination and inspiration, individuals reach their innermost selves. However, this innermost self must also surrender itself to the world around. As explained earlier, even at the stage of imagination, thinking must flow outwards into the objective. Deliberate and disciplined thinking is continually at work in the discovery of higher worlds. It is crucial to recognize that our entire being has to be given over to the reality of the supersensible worlds. After the attainment of inspiration, through the efforts made and experiences undergone, individuals become intensely aware of the I, the central core of their being. This marks the point where the harmony and union between the experience of freedom and that of nature necessity can be realized and known. In ordinary life, individuals are enclosed within the web of nature necessity. Often the impulses of will seem to surge up from subconscious depths, instincts and natural urges. It is nearly as challenging to survey what is working in the urges and impulses of the will as it is to recall experiences from the realm of sleep. Nevertheless, within the urges and impulses of the will, much is contained that influences our life of conscious moral responsibility. A man who has attained inspiration and imagination through dedicated efforts is strengthened in his experience of the I. While surrendered to the world, he is simultaneously restored to his own keeping. Such an individual, unlike those adhering to biased scientific views, won't assert that the same nature necessity governing the fall of a stone, the warming of the stone by the sun, or the principles of electricity, magnetism, acoustics and optics is also at play when he, as a human being, unfolds his impulses of will. In mainstream science and everyday life, people often grapple with doubts surrounding this problem. On one side, there is the undeniable reality of human freedom. Yet, prevailing conviction suggests that this freedom must be relinquished for those who align with modern scientific principles, believing in the conservation of energy and matter. According to this view, no impulse of human will or action can originate from free will, as humans, like all other creatures in the natural kingdoms, must be subject to the domination of nature necessity. With the true I before him in greater strength and intensity, man gains a form of knowledge even higher than inspiration and imagination. This higher knowledge is termed true intuition, signifying complete immersion in spiritual reality. At this stage, the concept of man's repeated earthly lives, as elucidated by Anthroposophy, takes on profound meaning. The seeming necessity inherent in a man's actions and will is recognized as the consequence of preceding lives on earth. Man's eternal core of being undergoes multiple earthly lives, and between these lives, between death and rebirth, he leads an existence in the worlds of soul and spirit. The knowledge unfolds. Flowing from life to life, there is a factor that entails the subjection of the I and its impulses of will, not to external nature necessity, but to the necessity threading through the chain of earthly lives. Initially, this necessity remains concealed from ordinary thinking. However, when true, free, sense-free thinking, as described in my philosophy of spiritual activity, is cultivated within a single earthly existence, it forms the authentic foundation of our freedom and free spiritual activity. As we rise to these moral impulses, seized by the free power of thought, we become free human beings on earth. What exists in our existence as destiny, unfolding through repeated earthly lives, is not nature necessity, but the necessity woven through these cycles of existence. Intuition, the third stage of supersensible knowledge, unveils the harmonious interplay between the freedom inherent in a single earthly life and the perceived necessity of destiny. This destiny is not governed by external nature necessity or the normal constitution of the human body, but is intricately woven from earlier earthly lives. It doesn't render us unfree, much like the change of stage when we shift the setting of our lives. For instance, emigrating from Europe to America involves destiny, but despite the transition, we remain free beings. The discernment between necessity within repeated earthly lives and the inherent freedom in each single earthly life becomes clear through this higher perception. Gazing into the higher worlds provides a sense of security and confidence as the purpose and meaning of earthly life become apparent. While the yearning for higher worlds is essential for a secure existence on earth, losing our connection with the divine spiritual within us can make earthly life insecure. True anthroposophical knowledge of the reality of higher worlds doesn't distance us from earthly affairs. It acknowledges that the descent to earth must occur repeatedly for freedom to become an integral part of human existence. Conscious realization of freedom persists, even in the face of the challenges of destiny, as we comprehend these issues in their spiritual context, illuminated by the reality of the higher worlds. This brief lecture provides only a rudimentary overview of the subject. A wealth of literature is available for those interested. In this condensed presentation, I've aimed to outline certain guiding principles. It's important to note that anthroposophical knowledge of the supersensible worlds doesn't lean towards being abstract or impractical. It doesn't seek to lead individuals into self-centered daydreams. On the contrary, it believes that alienating a person from the world would be a spiritual transgression. The spirit is truly within our grasp when its power makes us practical and capable human beings. The spirit is inherently creative, and its mission is to permeate, not escape, material existence. Anthroposophical knowledge of the supersensible worlds is, therefore, a practical force in daily life. Anthroposophy endeavours to enrich various sciences, the realms of art and practical life, with insights from the reality of higher worlds. Imaginative knowledge, which unveils the ether body or body of formative forces, plays a pivotal role in this process. Understanding the human bodily organisation in light of imaginative knowledge allows us to comprehend how the astral body, descended from worlds of soul and spirit, functions within the human being. This understanding extends to organs such as the lung, liver, stomach and brain, shedding light on the nature of health and illness. Anthroposophy's contributions are applied practically in the field of medicine, therapy and pathology, as evidenced by clinics and institutes in Stuttgart and Dornach. In the realm of art, anthroposophy has influenced a new style of architecture, exemplified by the Goetheanum building in Dornach. This architectural approach, rooted in anthroposophical principles, does not rely on symbolism or allegory, but reflects genuine creative art. Anthroposophy is not a mere intellectual theory. Instead, it leads to concrete understanding and perception of the spiritual world. This spiritual content can be interwoven into the material world. The new style of architecture adheres to Goethe's idea that art should manifest the secret laws of nature, ensuring its fruitful connection with the natural order. Moreover, anthroposophy strives to develop an art of movement known as eurythmy, grounded in the reality of formative forces working supersensibly within the human being. Eurythmy is a unique expression of artistic performance, illustrating the integration of spiritual insights into creative expression. Eurythmy, far from being a form of dance or mime, is an art that transcends the physical realm, descending from the supersensible into the material dimension of human existence. It serves as a means to express the profound connection between humans and the cosmos, revealing, through a visible speech, the secrets of the life of the soul and spirit, akin to the revelations found in audible speech or song. Likewise, anthroposophy extends its influence into the social, moral, and ethical dimensions of life, as highlighted in the book, The Threefold Commonwealth. Conventional materialistic theories, including Marxian perspectives, fall short in addressing the intricate problems of social life. Understanding that humans are fundamentally spiritual and supersensible beings, anthroposophy emphasizes the need for individuals to manifest the supersensible in their social interactions. Without this acknowledgement, the pressing social issues of our time cannot be meaningfully resolved. Furthermore, the path to higher worlds, as explored by anthroposophical spiritual science through genuine research rather than mere belief, is intricately connected to humanity's deepest and most inward quest. It intertwines with the bonds individuals strive to forge with the divine spiritual foundations of the universe. In essence, spiritual science enriches and quickens the religious life, a vital aspect that is currently in great demand. It is perplexing to the speaker that anthroposophical spiritual science has recently faced accusations from theological circles, claiming that it undermines the religious life. Such assertions seem to misunderstand the essence of anthroposophy, which is inseparable from the profound religious feelings that arise within the human heart. Rather than heralding the death of religion, anthroposophy serves as a living path to supersensible realities, fostering a vibrant religious life by enhancing, quickening, and infusing warmth into the devotion of individuals to the supersensible worlds. Anthroposophy, in its noblest sense, aspires to contribute meaningfully across all spheres of life, from the secular to the sacred. It seeks to be a dynamic force in the ongoing evolution of humanity, addressing the urgent need for revitalizing impulses in many aspects of existence. The tumultuous period of the second decade of the 20th century has underscored the demand for new and invigorating influences in various realms. The essence of anthroposophy resonates with the timeless concerns of human life. It can thrive both in the bustling forum of everyday existence, where the yearning for inner security finds expression, and in the tranquil spaces removed from the noise of life. Throughout every era, the human being must establish a connection with the eternal within, for this connection is integral to true humanity. Anthroposophy, being concerned with eternal aspects of human existence, holds universal and vital relevance for all individuals. In times marked by signs of decline, the need to counteract these forces with ennobling impulses for Western civilization becomes evident. Anthroposophy is noteworthy not only for its attention to the eternal, but also for its engagement with the challenging tasks of our contemporary era. In conclusion, anthroposophy distinguishes itself from contemporary trends that lead individuals to mystical fantasies, fostering a sense of estrangement from the world. Instead, its goal is to guide individuals toward the reality of supersensible worlds, enabling them to grasp the spirit and actively participate in practical and material life. Indeed, embracing the spirit is essential for building a life on solid foundations, especially in these turbulent and challenging times, where the solutions to complex problems necessitate a deep connection with the supersensible worlds and the eternal aspects of human existence. And that's a wrap for today's learning journey. Thank you so much for joining us and experiencing all the excitement. If you had as much fun as we did, don't forget to give that like button a big thumbs up and subscribe.